Hey guys, what's going on? This is your old pal CHH here today. It's 2024 and we're going to have a slew of new physical media releases this year. I'm sure it's going to be as good as 2023, hopefully better. And when it comes to something that I love, I can't think of a better way to start out the year than with one of my, if not my absolute favorite Sam Raimi films. I'm talking about Darkman. This is the new Steelbook release for the film. You can also get a standard version of Darkman that comes with a slipcover. And this is a movie, guys, that I absolutely love. It's somewhat of a genre-bending film. Liam Neeson even talked about this. He says this movie is somewhat of an action film. It's somewhat of just a adventure film, it's a science fiction film, and it's also somewhat of a horror film. And, you know, this was the first movie with Sam Raimi getting into the studio system. You know, he had major success, obviously, with the Evil Dead films, and he would partner with Universal and create Darkman. And this movie just is one of those movies I go back and watch at least once a year. Because every time I start to get in somewhat of an action kick, which usually happens around the winter months, I'd like to start it off with Darkman because it's, like I said, this genre-bending film that mixes things to a T. And what's so great about this is it stars the great Liam Neeson. Obviously, my introduction to Liam Neeson was seeing him as Qui-Gon Jinn from Episode 1. So seeing him in other movies is like always a treat because I fell in love with him as a kid, as an actor. He's just like, he was my hero. Then I would see him in movies. He had this big revival with this movie called Taken that everybody was talking about when it came out. And as I got into horror on a deeper level, I started to see about Sam Raimi, and I was like, okay, Darkman, what is that? And then I looked into it. The art on the poster and things like that always sucked me right in with Darkman. I was like, man, this looks like it's like, no pun intended, really dark and mysterious, and oh, it stars Liam Neeson? You're kidding me. So, yeah, and it's always funny when you see Liam talk in his native accent. I always thought he was an American. He's not. So what is Darkman? Darkman is the scientist who's working on basically synthetic skin. It's going to be this huge breakthrough, and it can be used for people who have all kinds of issues in real life that maybe have facial deformities, defects, and, you know, he's doing a lot of great stuff. He's got this beautiful girlfriend. Everything in his life is fine, but this gang comes rolling into town, and they're taking over everything. And eventually, this gang rolls into Liam's laboratory and destroys and explodes up everything around him, including Liam. And his face gets horribly burned. His hands get destroyed by the chemicals in this place. It is a scene. And the greatest thing about this for the horror fans that they're going to love is who is in fact our main villain. It is Larry Drake, aka Dr. Giggles. Larry Drake has the look of a cartoon character that somehow got turned into a real-life human being. Sometimes you could think of it the other way around, like, what would he look like as a cartoon character? Larry Drake looks like a cartoon character that got turned into a human being. And I say that as a huge compliment. He is just one of the most unique-looking humans ever. And he has these eyes that just draw you right in. Like, he is a scary, evil son of a gun. Obviously, we can see how scary he is with movies like Dr. Giggles. He is a threat for sure. And he is the perfect kind of gang mobster leader in Darkman. And like I said, it's somewhat of this genre-bending film. And obviously Darkman, when he is not under the guise of the prosthetic skin that he creates to where he can look like his normal self, Liam Neeson's character, he's able to put makeup on to make him look like himself. But when he's not doing that, he's wrapped in bandages, he's got hats on, he's got a big overcoat on. And it's very reminiscent of, like, you know, the Invisible Man. And you know, I know that's what Sam was going for. He wanted to have this almost, you know, Universal monster-esque characteristic and this feel, and you totally get that. You know, if you ask me, who would you recommend Darkman to? The answer is simply yes, as a blanket statement. Like, hey, would you recommend a horror fan to check out Darkman? Yes. Would you recommend a superhero movie fan or an action movie fan to check out Darkman? Absolutely yes. Science fiction? Yes. It's not very often that there are genre-bending films that I can recommend as often as I do with a movie like Darkman, and it's just a primo example of a great movie on all fronts. And sometimes genre-bending films can just not stick or land, but when you got Sam Raimi diving into the big studio system and them letting him basically create the movie he wants, you're going to be in good hands. So Darkman is just a solid awesome movie. Great way to start the 90s. I love it to death, guys. So Darkman is one of my favorites. It's my favorite Sam Raimi film. I'll shut up about it. So let's talk about the release. So, like I said, there are 2 releases you can get. You can get the standard 4K release, which is going to have the theatrical style artwork, which is basically what this is. This is my old Blu-ray release. Or you can get the Steelbook, which I love, because I always loved the teaser poster for the movie, Who is Darkman? As you can see him in there. But it asks the question, who is Darkman on the front? So, it's not a matte black. It's more of a shiny black cover. And it's, you can see the image on the front. And on the back, we've got Liam all in his bandages, and he's scarred up in there. So that's what our Darkman looks like when he's not wearing his prosthetic skin. So on the inside, you're going to have 2 discs. You've got your 4K disc with Liam with like a jester hat on. And on the Blu-ray disc, you get the shot of the heads that he would wear, the synthetic skin heads, to make himself look normal. And then you get the shot of when he was getting ready to hang off of the helicopter at the end. So what I did is I really wanted to give you guys all the information you can to decide if you want to upgrade. And I should note, because, Best Buy's basically gone by the wayside in terms of physical media, this is the way I think it should be done, and hopefully it stays this way. If you want the Steelbook, you can order it off of Amazon. If you want the standard release, you can order it off of Amazon. There is no more exclusivity, which kind of makes me not... I'm never going to be going in Best Buy that much anymore. Interestingly enough, when it comes to this situation, like, the reason I went to Best Buy is to get stuff like this. Now I don't have to. I just get it from Amazon. But the issue is, I know a lot of people, and this is not necessarily an Amazon issue. Actually, it kind of is. They need to package Steelbooks differently. Some of the issues people have ordering Steelbooks from Amazon is their stuff gets damaged. That's, part Amazon's fault, and that's also the post office fault. They're not that concerned with making sure your Steelbook gets to you in one piece. They should be, but also Amazon should be stepping it up. We're all paying for Prime, more than likely. They should be stepping it up and using small boxes. We've seen boutique labels like Orbit and Diabolic and others. They're very, very good at packaging movies in small little boxes. Amazon should really start doing that for these releases. Luckily, I ordered a couple movies at once, so mine came in a box with some other movies, which is why mine kind of came flawlessly. But I do feel for the people that are ordering the Steelbook, because I really like it, and they're coming damaged. So keep that in mind, but screw them. If it comes damaged, send that crap back. And send it back and get another one. I mean, they'll learn sooner or later, but... Anyway, I wanted to do my due diligence, so I watched the movie on 4K UHD. I even popped in the Blu-ray version of this to look at the picture quality, and then I popped in my standard Blu-ray, which I got years ago, and this has a date of... I want to say this came out in like 2016. I'm looking for the year this release came out, but I want to say it was like 2016. It's been a number of years, so it's an older Blu-ray release from Scream Factory. This continues the trend of Scream Factory, in my opinion, having strong 4K releases. I was super happy, and I've watched Darkman enough on Blu-ray to really be able to notice a difference in terms of what the picture quality could be. And I've been watching 4K titles very frequently now, so I feel like I have a pretty keen sense on, hey, how much better does this look? What's the difference? Again, when it comes to this, it almost... I describe a great 4K of having this fluidity to it, and you can really, really see the image on screen almost being 3D, like the space behind your main character in the wall. It's like it's almost like there's just all the data in the image. Zero compression, zero upscaling, native 4K, solid as can be. Like I said, I've watched this movie so often, like I knew what to look for, I know what I expected it to look like, and it looked great. This isn't necessarily a negative, but it is something I just want to kind of talk about. Sam Raimi is no stranger to using all the effects tools of latter-day Hollywood. Some green screen stuff, also some optical stuff. That stuff is going to be more noticeable than, let's say, the Blu-ray release, which kind of squishes some things together to where the effects that Sam is using in film, some of the small green screen things or the optical effects, but the 4K really lets you see it. Personally, I find some of that stuff charming. I don't find it distracting, because as a fan of, classic cinema, or 80s and 90s cinema specifically, that's something I enjoy seeing. Like Nightmare 5 did a lot of that. Another thing that I like so much about this release as opposed to the Blu-ray release, I feel like the Blu-ray release really kind of over boosted the skin tones and everything, and in this one everything just looks so much more realistic and natural. So for me, this 4K, again, you know, some people will tell you, and I get it, I really do, some people don't notice the differences as much on some stuff, and some stuff maybe does not really have that much of a jump. I have probably watched Darkman 25 times since I found it years ago, and I was so happy with the 4K of this. I just thought it looked exceptional. I mean, I have found a lot of Scream Factory's 4Ks to be very good. The issue is some of their stuff, the Blu-rays were, you know, upscaled, or they came from their 4K scans and on Blu-rays, and they looked really good, and you're not seeing a huge bump. This is actually an instance to where you're going to notice it, I find, very much so from the old Blu-ray release, and that's why I wanted to throw this on, because I was like, I'm pretty sure that wasn't taken from a 4K scan of the film, but no, I think it doesn't say anything, so it's probably just some sort of 1080p. This is obviously from the negative, uncompressed, gorgeous, and the Blu-ray looked sensational too. I like to take my Blu-rays, I'll pop them on I have a 4K TV, a Dolby Vision 4K TV, and I'll pop the Blu-ray on my PlayStation 4, because I feel like that is a good baseline for people that use Blu-rays nowadays. They may use PlayStation 4s, and even that was just much more impressive to me than the old Blu-ray release. So very happy with this. The issue is, special feature-wise, and this is just the truth, they crushed it on the Blu-ray. I mean, guys, they had Liam Neeson interviews, they had production designers, they had all the vintage stuff on here. So there really wasn't much else you could do for the 4K release. I'm not excusing it, but it's just the truth. I mean, what are you gonna do? Get Liam again to talk about this movie? I mean, I guess I wouldn't have been upset about that. Don't get me wrong, because it's always nice to hear his perspective all these years even more later than opposed to when that Blu-ray came out. But they did do a good job. This was at a point when Scream Factory was doing sensational work for special features on their movies, and they were more concerned about making bodies of work as opposed to just making it look really busy on the back for the special features section. They did add some new stuff. Let's talk about it. In terms of new stuff, guys, they did add a new audio commentary with filmmaker and Darkman superfan Josh Rubin. But I gotta be honest, I put that on. You're going to learn some stuff from Rubin. I watched about 25 minutes. He clearly knows his stuff, but it's not something... If this was my one sticking point, let's say I was only concerned about special features and you had the Blu-ray release, that's not going to cut it, and that's just reality. I appreciate them putting in some effort and trying to add to these releases, as I've given credit for in the past, like with Silver Bullet and things like that. But, I mean, I don't know. To some people, I think they might even say, it's not even, don't even bother doing that. I'm not going to listen to that. And for that, I understand. So, I'm going to say, guys, if you don't have Starkman at all, definitely get the 4K. Super, super solid. If you have the Blu-ray release, but it's a movie you're not going to watch but maybe once every couple years or so, you could probably hang on your Blu-ray release and call it. But if you're a fan and you want to see this movie look insanely great, I was super happy with my 4K release of this. It's up there with some of the best 4K scan releases, or the best 4K releases Scream Factory's done, in my opinion. Just super, super strong. But you're going to notice the charming effects more in the 4K, as opposed to more of the smushed look you get in the older Blu-ray release, which, depending on which side of the coin you fall on, that can either be a factor or a non-factor to you. To me, it's a non-factor, because I appreciate those old in-camera techniques that Sam Raimi loved to do. They did not have Dolby Audio on this, which I know some people, for the real audio people, that can be somewhat of an annoyance. I've got my card right here, but no, it's 5.1. So I don't know why they didn't add that. You know, but it's got, obviously, it's Dolby Vision HDR and all that. Just, I don't know. They should probably start trying to keep the Dolby Audio thing going, because I know that's an important factor for people too. Again, with me being soundbar guys, I typically pick 2.0s if they have that on there. If not, I'll do the 5.1s, but I typically prefer 2.0s. Again, I'm going to work on my sound system very, very soon. But guys, there's Darkman, the 4K Steelbook release. Super happy with this movie, super happy with this 4K. I'm going to get a lot of mileage out of that thing, I tell you. Let me know what you guys think. Is Darkman a movie you really enjoy or not, guys? I'd love to hear it. I just think it's a great movie. And if there's any more questions you have about this that I did not answer, please drop it below, and I'll do my best to answer it, guys. Thank you for watching this video. This is your old pal, CHH. Drop a like on it, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Huge, giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind-the-scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.